What's up, folks? Welcome to the Triple B TV live stream. You guys are watching my cousin press extra buttons for you just to be fun. We got our guy back working the studio controls, so now things won't get messed up at all. And
he's not muted this time.
Tonight, you're coming to a live stream with Ryan McVeigh of Zilla, with Zilla, from Zilla, the Zilla. And Ryan, I've got one particularly cool herping trip with Ryan. Ryan and I, when we get together, things get a little nuts, but he might bring out Reptile community Ryan instead of just me and him Ryan. I don't know yet. We're going to have to find out. We'll see. You have to judge yourself. But I just got back from an excellent herping trip with Dave Kaufman and Clint's Reptiles, and Mr. Garrett Hartle went out there for the CNB show. If you're watching the vlog channel, you know that. There's going to be some excellent herping videos coming out on the vlog channel very shortly here. I highly recommend you go watch them because they're going to be full of A, good times, B, happy, friendly family, and C, I don't know what's coming out. I haven't edited them yet, but when I edit them, I'm going to put C into it, and then you'll have to check that out. But let's get into our live stream that we've already started. You're watching Triple B TV. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ryan McVeigh. Did you like watching me dance around like an idiot right there? Was that fun?
Oh, that's good stuff. I just like seeing you. I'm just happy I get to physically actually see you.
Well, this is through a screen. It's not quite the same.
I know, but it's closer than I've been in a year. So I'll take it.
All right. You're looking good, dude.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I weigh less than I did in high school.
That's incredible and crazy incredible.
Yeah.
How'd you do it?
I'm honestly, if I'm being super honest, I'm on a diabetes medication that makes it so I'm just not that hungry all the time, and I watch my carbs anyway because of my hungry medic, and I just am shedding weight like crazy because of it.
That works. Oh, are we having an issue, cousin?
Just turn him up a little bit.
I've got him as loud as I can possibly get him over here. You're gonna have to turn him over on your end.
Sorry, is that better?
Oh, that's
I might need to get closer.
That's better. Maybe move that pop filter out. If you get pops, it's fine. I just put that thing in there like you would anything else of that shape and size. So
how do you think I got to the top? Yeah, got the trophy to prove it.
Oh, I got a trophy like that over here somewhere. I was hoping that we could talk about the thing that you told me that we can't talk about during the intro, but we're not going to talk about that, I suppose, because you're not allowed to yet. But
I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch before this company launches. So.
Oh, I thought we weren't supposed to talk about that.
Yeah.
Are you not enjoying that?
Well, good job. You didn't have to say anything. You just sat there and nodded, and I would have
just nodded.
Yeah, that would have been fine. Let's talk about first. Let's talk about what a crazy herper you are. Can we talk about that first?
Yeah.
Like you go hard in the paint. Like when everybody else is. Noah just came with us on his first like big herping trip with the boys, and he kept up pretty well. Like we spent a good 20 hours out in the desert, but
I saw that. I was impressed, man.
I was pretty stoked that went that way, which lets me know there's going to be many more to come. You know, and not this is the end. But while we were doing that, I always anytime I'm on a herd trip and I feel like we're going hard, I think A, Ryan would approve. B, he'd be like, we're just getting warmed up, boys. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's pretty close, man. It's I tell you, like spending most of my life as a pretty big dude. Like I don't want to run a mile, but I'll hike 7 miles up a mountain to find a salamander and not lose my breath at all. I don't know. I just zone in, man, and I love getting out there. And a lot of the travel I've done over the past 10 years has allowed me to get to really cool places all over the country. And even for work trips, I'd be on a work trip when I was an engineer, and I'd find it like a morning or an afternoon I could just sneak off and go hike or go find something cool. And I don't know, I love reptiles, and it's not just keeping them. There's anything reptile. So I love finding them in the wild. I love doing conservation work with them. Love educating people about them. I like breeding them and working with them and having them. Anything. So that just kind of fills that piece. It's different, man. It's different to see a wild animal versus a captive one.
What all is going on in your room there?
So this is the back of our office. This little face right here will probably start jumping at me is Sobek. That's our West African dwarf crocodile. And then these cages back here are peacock monitors, Varanus offenbergi. That's a species of monitor that hasn't been coming into the country as much anymore, and not a lot of attention was paid to it when it was. So me and Erica took it on as a species we wanted to put a lot of focus in, and I think right now we're sitting around 20 of them with captive babies. And then I've got Varanus spinulosus and leeches, and then over here what you can't see really, but that entire wall that's all off is all our snakes. So that's our pythons.
And there's a T-Rex over there too.
Oh yeah, and the little T-Rex and some little tiny reed frogs that are growing out, little babies that just morphed out. And in my big vivarium in our front room, I just had more frogs, just tadpoles all over in the pond, and yeah, so
killer, man.
There's something going on everywhere, man.
Yeah, it seems like I was bummed we didn't get to make it out to check out your vibe that we almost did. Did Dave ever make it out, or did he? Like right there when Tinley got canceled, like we landed. You guys, I think Ryan and Ben were over there.
Yeah, no, I don't think he did. I think he ended up booking right back home. So, but no, that sucks. But see, you gotta come to Schaumburg, man. Schaumburg in June. It is literally 15 minutes. I can bike there. It's down the street from me.
I'm definitely thinking about going. I would like to. I mean, I'm going to Arlington. I'm definitely going to Arlington. That's happening. Are you going to Arlington?
No, I won't be in Arlington. I was hoping to, but I won't be there.
Okay. All right. No. Well, I'm not going now either.
But. No, but man, if you can make it up here, we can do some cool stuff. I mean, we're happy to show you around. Plus, we can go. I don't know. You want to go feed a Komodo dragon?
I mean, I've only got to do that once before, so a second would be a good one. Oh, I didn't actually get to feed. I got to just chase it while it was chasing a chicken, which
no, it's kind of helping. I guess that's sort of feeding it.
I would love to feed a Komodo dragon.
Yeah. So when you make it up here, we'll go do that. We'll go do that and play with some sloths and a bunch of other cool stuff.
What are the details on that?
So a good friend of mine, Rob Carmichael, is a curator for the Wildlife Discovery Center. About 20 years ago, he started his own little zoo. Really, really cool. And it's right in Lake Forest, Illinois. It's on this heritage property that the city owns and works with him on. And I think he's the only non-AZA facility in the U.S. that has a Komodo dragon.
Wow. That's because it was my assumption you kind of needed to be AZA to have a Komodo dragon.
Yeah, you do, or you have to be able to garner a lot of respect in the community of zookeepers and stuff in the AZA, and Rob definitely has. I mean, he has some incredible animals and is an amazing mentor and really cool guy. So he's definitely somebody that's definitely has a lot of knowledge and is just cool to have kind of in my backyard. So me and him hang out quite a bit.
Yeah, Komodo dragon, dude. That's off the hook.
Yeah, it was her name's Shrimp. She's a slightly small, petite, like 6 feet, 7 feet, and but she got removed from the SSP program in the AZA because I think she had to have she had got egg bound or something and had to have surgery. I think she might have actually been spayed, so I'm not quite sure on it, but I know she had some medical issues so that she couldn't be used for the breeding program anymore. So he got the opportunity to have her for a display. So
that's incredible.
He's had Philippine crocs and Cubans and big albino gators and tons of different crocodilians. He's got I helped him. I custom built and designed a tank for him with a bunch of stuff from Central and from Zilla, and we donated it to the Discovery Center. He has hellbenders in a 210-gallon cold stream tank. So it's got four jets on one side and the overflows on the other side, and it's just a constant flow of water across the 210-gallon tank and then draining into the other side. So we literally recreated a rocky mountain creek, put a chiller in it so the water's freezing cold.
That's epic.
Yeah,
man.
It's super cool.
Dude, and so you're saying if I come to Schaumburg, we can go check all this stuff out?
Oh, dude, we're gonna go play with whatever. We're gonna go do a bunch of fun stuff.
All right. I guess I'm coming to Schaumburg. It's we're the one
Make
thing.
it worth it. It'll be worth it.
We're the one thing is we're hosting Carpet Fest. I think the weekend before, so it's gonna be like my wife is like, dude, you got so many. How many weekends are yours this summer again? I think it's,
Yeah, no, I get it, man. I'm itching to get moving on some stuff and get out there again. And even Erica's same thing. We're both like, we just want to go to shows. We want to see people again. We want to get out there. And as soon as things start opening up, then we're also like, and we're gonna go camping. And we're gonna do all this stuff. And then we started looking. And we're like, there's just not enough days, man. I just gotta get out.
you do, man. I assume you've been out.
Yeah.
Herp, well, you're in Illinois, so it's
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we just it's been a couple good weeks of good weather. We got our stuff starting to come out of hibernation, and me and Erica and the girls have gotten on our boots and went down to some of the vernal ponds and stomped around trying to see if we could find any breeding salamanders. And they're not quite there, but they should be in the next couple weeks. So we keep doing that, and we go look for like breeding newts and watch how all the animals are kind of coming back and moving around in the woods out by the house. And
dude, I just realized that I probably should have had Erica on. I've had you on
you should.
before.
She's way prettier than me and way cooler. If it helps, she's right behind my screen.
Can I say
So
hi?
she's-
Is that
Yeah.
okay? I mean, she can say no. I didn't. She wasn't planning to be on.
Brian would like to say hi.
She's not planning to be on the video, so she doesn't have to.
Yeah. No, she's video ready. She's good.
I am video ready, but I also have to make dinner because somebody didn't make dinner for the kids like he said he was going to, even though I was still working.
Come on, Ryan.
Yeah, I went grocery shopping and then I got back and then I ran some errands and then stuff happens.
But you were supposed.
Day gets away from you.
You were supposed to make dinner and you didn't. Is that what I heard? Is that right?
That's kind of what it's sounding like. I don't remember agreeing to that, but I never argue because I like happiness.
Dude, she's if anybody watching hasn't got a chance to speak with Eric, I just remember the first time that I met her, I basically like within a matter of seconds, which is true of.
The marshmallows are now coming my way.
Within I think it wasn't only, it was a matter of seconds, which is probably true of a lot of people, especially at shows. They meet me and next thing you know, there's a camera in their face, and that was definitely true of her. And she just proceeded to be a professional, just a professional. Like I was like, well, can you do what I do for me, because you're way better at it.
She's incredible, man. I mean, I don't think I've done crap compared to what she's done. I mean, just her knowledge, how humble she is. You'd never know how much reptile medical knowledge she has. She's published. She has a chapter that she published in a book on emergency exotic medicine.
Sorry, 1 second. I'm having an issue over here. It sounds what?
Blinking a lot.
Okay, I guess I'm blinking a lot. Whatever, we're talking right. If I blink, whatever. I've been having I've been working to get technical difficulty issues over here down to nothing, and every step that I get closer to doing that, another one pops up, and apparently I'm blinking.
You were gonna try and get back to no technical issues. That's a dream. That would be great, wouldn't it?
Touched that thing and it messed it up.
Are we good?
That's stable.
That's good. Okay. I'm gonna.
I can hear you all right.
Yeah. I know. Sorry, it's the video thing. I got brand new stuff over here, like on many fronts, and apparently that wasn't good enough. Sorry,
but no, it's all good, man. No, but she's awesome, man, and you'd never know how much she knows. Like, she's on the board for the Association of Reptile and Amphibian Veterinarians. She started Friends of Scales Reptile Rescue 10 years ago, and in 10 years, it's the only licensed and insured like reptile rescue in the state of Illinois, and one of the few even in the Midwest. And in the last 10 years, she's found homes for over 2,500 animals. It's incredible. And I mean, just all the stuff she does. I mean, she makes me look way cooler than I am all the time, and way more attractive than I am when she's anywhere near me. So like, it's win-win all around for me.
Yeah.
I mean, she's actually working with Wisconsin DNR on Massasauga research right now. She's trucking it through these back. I mean, there's an area that they believe they found one. They believe there might be a population left there, and they're extremely endangered in Wisconsin. And it's about 300 acres, and it's untouched, dude. It is like like 1800s people traveling through that area, kind of untouched. There's no path. It's grass up to here. You can't see your feet. It's trudging through like raspberries and thorns and crap. And she does that for 4 hours a weekend, every weekend through the summer and stuff, looking for rattlesnakes. And yeah, she's a badass, man.
Yeah, that's impressive stuff, dude. Just getting 2,500 animals into new homes, that's off the hook.
Yeah,
I don't think.
Yeah, she's unreal, man, and just the passion and knowledge she has. But again, she's somebody that, unless you catch her speaking, like she lectures at universities around the country, like unless you catch her speaking, you'd never know how much she knows.
Yeah, I got.
And
I got to find out.
She'll never tell you. Yeah, and she'll never tell you. You have to like drag it out of her. She's like, well, yeah, like I know, like I mean, reptiles are cold-blooded. I know a thing or two, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, you like. I've seen you bring a dead animal back to life, which was unreal. Something that I thought was completely dead for hours. So, like, yeah, her knowledge is just unreal.
What was that? Can you tell me what that was?
It was a crocodilian that had some issues and then was fine and then wasn't. And I poked its eye. I'm pretty sure it was like, it didn't move. It was dead. No heartbeat, no nothing. And she started pulling out medical books and doing some, just being able to do some maneuvers with it and stuff. And all of a sudden, like, it's been like 10 minutes later, all of a sudden it just took a huge breath and then started chirping at me.
Wow.
Yeah, it was unreal.
That must have been something to see, dude.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Well, Erica is amazing. There's absolutely no doubt about that. That's
yeah.
What did you start Madison Area Herp Society? Or
yeah,
you did?
Yep. I founded that in our first meeting was October of 2010.
And from what I've never been to one of those meetings, but from what I understand, that Herp Society is kind of a good model for how a Herp Society could be very successful. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, I feel a little like, MHS is amazing. Obviously. No, but I think so. I think we've always been a much younger herp society, so we're a lot more fluid. We don't have all of our roots and in what I did with starting this was all in education and positivity and driving the hobby forward and driving knowledge forward and getting into the community and getting them to love the animals that we do. It was never about members or being the guy or anything like that. And when we did that and just kept those pillars of what we were doing at the center of everything we were doing, we just kept growing and growing and growing and growing. And then it went from one branch to now we have 3 branches in the state of Wisconsin. Every branch has their own full board of directors. I mean, we're increasing our membership every week. And we've increased our membership even through COVID without meeting. We haven't had a meeting in over a year. But we're doing a lot of online stuff. If you go to the Madison Area Herpetological Society Facebook page, we do live streams, 3 or 4 of them a month sometimes, interviews with really cool people. We did a thing with Mike's monitors showing how all of his setups. We've done kids talks. We have a Young Explorers program that's actually geared at kids. So once a month, there's a Wednesday. It's like the first or second Wednesday of the month. The Young Explorers coordinators do a presentation that's more aimed at kids and more basic reptile stuff like camouflage and how reptiles work and different, like we'll find cool stuff like one of the funner ones that Erica actually did it was reptiles of the galaxy and their earthly counterparts. So she went through all of these sci-fi movies, and she's a total sci-fi nerd. And she went through like Star Wars and all this crazy stuff and found all these actual animals that were in the movies or in the stories and things like that, and created a PowerPoint for the kids showing that talking about some crazy animal from some other planet that came out of a movie, and then comparing that to some animal that lives kind of like that here. And it was just the coolest, most unique presentation, and the kids just ate it up. I mean, the parents do. Actually, we have more people at our Young Explorers meetings than at our general meetings. Just because everybody comes for the kids' meetings and hangs out and learns, and then they stick around afterwards for the general meetings, and then the kids usually don't stay as long because it's a little later. And yeah, I mean, it's cool. But that's really been what it's all about, is just getting out there and educating people and sharing all of our own nerdy excitement.
Dude, there's this. You made me think of this movie I saw just a couple months ago. Is the Valley of the Dragons, I think it was called, and and it's like something where it's almost like has a Twilight Zone type of feel, and they go back in some time warp to where they're in this land of dinosaurs, but all of the dinosaurs are, and this is like it must have been shot in the 40s or 50s or something, and it's all like there's a tegu and there's an alligator and there's stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they had this scene where the tegu and the alligator like battled each other, and I was like, dude, there's no way that would happen today. Like the way that what was filmed was like, that's not ever gonna happen again in a Hollywood movie.
Right. Well, now you can just go down there and shoot it live as a documentary.
True. I guess you could do that. You just couldn't use it as a movie for entertainment purposes, I guess. At least not in Hollywood.
Yeah, probably not. It might not. Yeah, it might not go well for you.
Yeah, I remember watching it. I was like, ooh, that's live. That's live animal battle.
Yeah, dude, there's a lot of stuff they did back in like the 30s and 40s. That's crazy. Like even it's funny. There's a ton of really awesome scientific literature on reptiles and like their interactions with UVA and their parietal eye. And, they used to like do these crazy experiments where they cut the parietal eye out of the brain of the animal and stuff like that. But they learned all of this stuff way back then that we still haven't actually adopted into husbandry right now. But it is crazy to read some of those studies. I'm reading them and I'm just like, could not have happened in the last 30 or 40 years without like things like people losing their mind. But yeah, there's some gruesome stuff, but they learned some cool stuff back then.
I'm fiddling with my cables over here. I'm trying to get my cousin to fiddle with them because I shouldn't. I don't want to. I'm not going to even think about it anymore. How long ago did you start that Herp Society?
2010. So October 2010 was our first meeting, and yeah, this last October was our 10-year anniversary.
And it's grown. So how many members do you guys have now?
It's hard to say at any given point, and I don't have the number on me right now. But like I said, we're probably around 150, 200 paid members, and growing all the time. But we have a lot more engagement than that. So we have like a Facebook group that's got, I don't know, maybe 1,500, 2,000 people in it that are local and all around the country, things like that are in there. So we definitely reach a lot of people. And we actually have members in most of the states in the US too. Because you don't have to live in Wisconsin and come to the meetings to be a member. You can support the Herp Society and be a member from anywhere.
Well, maybe I could be a member.
You could, if you weren't such a slacker. Get on it, dude. Where's the support? Where's the love, man? I gotta tell you this stuff. You should just know.
I'm busy. I'm busy. You know he's a slacker. No, we won't talk about him. Not that. Where are you going, Ryan? What is your quest? What is your mission?
For me?
Yeah,
man, dude. I think I started out kind of like a lot of people do. Like I love reptiles and I just wanted to keep everything. I definitely still want that, but now I'm an adult and I overthink things instead of just having fun and spending money and not caring about what the consequences are, which is a way better way to live. So happier way to live, at least in the short term. But after a while, at one point I had, 250, 300 animals and I loved it, but it became work and it was so much work and it just wasn't fun anymore. And I was not giving the husbandry exactly right. It was like, these guys are close enough and these guys are close enough and they're all in the same rack, but they're from different parts of the world. And it just got overwhelming. And I moved away from that and kind of got the mentality of, if everything I own's worth nothing, if I could just give away the babies I sold and that's it, what would I keep just because I loved it? And once I took that mentality on, it changed substantially how I keep my animals and what I keep. But it's a lot more fulfilling and I have fun. And if my stuff doesn't breed, I don't care. It doesn't financially affect me. And I'm not saying that for anybody who does that, like that's bad, but it's something that I don't have to worry about. I can have my animals. If something goes wrong or a clutch goes bad, I don't have to freak out about my livelihood with, feeding my family. So I kind of went that way, and then just kind of made my mission to be try and get every other person on this planet to love reptiles as much as I do. So just education and outreach and trying to advance husbandry and make people more successful and get people to care about learning more and wanting to do better and get away from this mentality that we have in the US of like, you can keep it, all you got to do is keep it alive. That makes you successful.
Yeah, they're pretty resilient. So if they die when they're in go from good health to die, then that's some pretty brutal stuff they've had to go through, right? That's a good
right. Well, yeah, and I mean, and but at the same time, they're not. It's really interesting how many. So we think of reptiles as predator species because in our eyes, we feed them. They're a predator, but they're also prey species, and you have no idea how many animals I've had randomly die. And luckily, I have Erica, so if something randomly dies, we necropsy it every time, and how much cancer there is. It's unreal, even in wild caught animals. So it's not captive breeding or genetic bottlenecks or anything like that. It's even in wild caught animals. So it's kind of like what you see in like rodents and rabbits that live past their life expectancy. They always get all tumored up and gross. Except they're not past their expectancy. But I kind of have a theory on why we're seeing that or why we see that in reptiles. But they do die for no reason sometimes, and a lot of times it's something like that, or especially with captive bred animals. You think about the fact that we're keeping an entire clutch alive, and that's our goal as breeders and producers and trying to produce these pets for people, or whatever, but we're keeping them all alive. In the wild, they wouldn't all live, and that's not it's predators, it's disease, it's all those things, but it's also the fact that there's weaker genetics in a lot of those animals. They're not as strong. They're not going to eat as well. Half of them might not even hatch, but because we're able to do it in a sterile environment, we can get all those animals hatching. We can get them feeding. If they're not feeding, we can force feed them. We can force them to thrive and get them going as well as we can. But then that animal grows up and could be a breeder for somebody else. And now you're passing on all of those weak genetics. And it's just piling over and over and over these weak genetics because we're keeping everything alive, not the 2 or 3 that would have actually made it to adulthood because they were stronger genetically.
And that's true not just of what we're raising. I think that's true of our entire way of life at this point.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
With us, like we're just crutches.
Yeah.
Crutches. Something as simple as crutches. That's.
Oh yeah. I mean, humans in general, man. I mean, the fact that you look at how old we all get, we're just going to keep everybody alive forever, which is also, it's great. I mean, obviously we shouldn't just be like, you stubbed your toe, we're going to put you down. Like, yeah, well, let's go behind the behind the barn, Brian. We got to have a conversation. Your leg's looking a little limpy. Like,
oh, dude, my leg is super limpy today. It's really like if there was a legitimate reason to put me down and I had to do leg limpy, today's that day. I should have been put down. I promise.
But that is a thing where there's genetic issues, there's diseases, there's things like that are becoming more and more pronounced in people, and things like autism and Down syndrome and things like that more people carry and longer over time, it spreads itself more. So I think that's something we'll continue to see more of to an extent with us, but I think you're going to see it with pretty much anything. But specifically more with the reptiles is you're taking an animal is very smart, has a very thoughtful mind, but also is very instinctual and really needs that thriving genetics to do well. I don't want to say it like this, but the ones that are weak are kind of designed to be food for something else. That's part of the cycle, so when we're, like I said, when we're keeping every single one alive, we're just continuing to pass on weak genetics unintentionally. And that's not morphs, that's not anything, that is literally just captive breeding, period.
So you mentioned the cancer has been the number one cause that you've seen?
I wouldn't say it's number one, but I would say either whether between cancer or genetic defects, you see it a lot more than you'd think. A lot of heart issues in snakes. Lizards are honestly, I see a lot less. I see more cancer in snakes than in lizards. I'm not sure why, but that's just kind of what we've just noticed. But
there's something I was talking about. I believe I was talking about with Garrett. Something about feeders. There's a lot of different feeders that come from stock that were, scientific rodents maybe and genetically modified, where they're trying to like see for cancer testing research where they're giving them cancer. And we're talking about this idea that maybe we basically have genetically modified feeders that are.
So the feeders that are coming out of the labs are none of them are test subject animals. They're all the control. So they're all the animals that are just fed the normal food and they're put into the program along whatever animal they're messing with to see how it reacts. They need a baseline of, if we treat this animal who we gave this genetic ability to kill AIDS, and then we need another one that we didn't give that ability to, that's a totally normal animal, and we need to treat them both the same to be able to understand how the treatments work or how those things work. So the animals that didn't get any treatment, they just got food and water like normal, or they were made to run on a wheel, but they didn't get the, robot eye, whatever. Those are the animals that we get, is the ones that nothing was done to. They're just fed and kept and used as controls.
Gotcha. It'd be interesting to follow on to see if it had any. Well, I guess like you said, they're not the ones that are getting the cancer. It's just curious to know why. I guess there's that thing with DuPont a while back. Our entire environment is basically loaded with, or not loaded, but there is an amount of plastic, chemical debris that's permeated our planet at this point. Correct?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the microplastics and all that stuff that's in fish, and it's in everything now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just working until we can just become totally artificial by infecting our body with artificial crap, not actually being cool and robots or anything. We're just going to get really stupid and turn into plastic.
Oh, man. I went down this.
On that positive outlook, where can we go from there? Let's set you up for a transition.
Let's go to, okay, so when you were coming on, I want to make it clear, my intention is never to stir any kind of muck or poop my goal is always to get more and more people work together. When Brian, my buddy Brian, saw that you were coming on, he's like, would you ask Ryan why he doesn't like me? And I was like, yeah, I could ask him that, I guess. He's open to that?
Yeah. Honestly, I don't have a personal problem with Brian. I've been asked that before by people that are mutual friends of ours, and I've never really had a personal problem with them. I don't agree with the clickbaity crap that him and everybody continue to do. They're not going to stop, so it's not worth talking about because, him, Nerd, Jay, they're making money doing it, so they're not going to stop. And I'm just sick of arguing. But, I don't have a problem with him. Like, he's doing his thing. Everybody does their own thing. Honestly, to an extent, this isn't him, this is everybody. I don't have enough time and energy to hate people. Like, either we're cool and you're part of my life, or you're not a part of my life and you're an ancillary person and I know who you are. But I don't put time into people that aren't in my circle usually. Not to sound bad or negative, but
I'm actually very much the same way. And the only reason I ask is, like, I think that you're a very positive force for what's happening in herpetoculture. And I think the same about Brian. So I want to see, like, the people that I know that I believe have a very strong, especially, now don't get me wrong, we've talked about this before too. In the past, there's definitely things where he had talked about where he was like, I was doing really dumb stuff but today, like, the stuff he's doing with the Reptarium and the kids and what's happening on a regular basis over there at this point, like, that coupled with stuff that you were doing, I just think that could be a very powerful thing. And just recently, especially with the laws coming out, people are getting very, having strong emotions about what's happening, you know, with the legislation, which understandably so, myself included, and people going at each other. And this isn't the situation. I'm not talking about you and Brian here. I'm talking about just in general. I'm saying
there's a ton of that out there.
Ton of just like this person's fault, like this finger pointing going on from other people in the hobby to other people in the hobby that are generally on the same page as like reptiles are cool, and we want other people to think reptiles are cool and not outlaw them.
I was talking to somebody today, a good friend, somebody you know, and he was just asking me some advice and kind of just talking life stuff, you know. And I told him one of the things that he was dealing with is he was dealing with some stuff, and he was worried about how the hobby would, or people within the hobby and people he respects and friends would see the actions of what he's doing and how they could misconstrue it. And I told him, I said, you know what? Here's the thing. If I stopped caring about what people think to an extent, like obviously I'm not going to go be crazy and do stupid crap because I just think, no, I don't care what anybody thinks. Not in that way, but I don't do what I do because I'm trying to impress anybody. I don't do what I do because I'm trying to be somebody's friend or idol or anything. I know what I want the hobby to look like, and I'm just trying to be the best version of what I want that to look like. And I think that's the only thing that you can do. If everybody stopped judging each other and complaining and just fighting and just became the best version of what they wanted to see, the hobby would turn and change itself with that momentum. And you're muted. But you're pretty.
Okay, Ryan, at least you can hear me now, but I don't know.
I can hear
you. Is there audio still going to the stream?
No, because it's got mic and on, so just off. Is your stream deck off, or is it?
No, it's not the stream deck's off. Something got jacked up in the
mix there. What it could have been, but I'll go back through the cords and make sure.
Of course, like whatever you said during that 20 seconds when I couldn't hear you, I'm sure that was like the best. It sounded like.
To be.
Yeah.
And if everybody stopped complaining about everything else that everyone else was doing and looked at their own self and tried to be the best version of what they thought the hobby should be, then we wouldn't have these problems anymore. If you hate ball python rack breeders, don't be one. If you hate, retic guys, don't be one. If you think people should be more responsible, then show people how you could be more responsible. Do bigger things, do better things, show people how you can do better, and inspire people to follow you. That's the only thing. I'm just trying to show that it can be fun and exciting, and we can always learn more and do better. And I hope people get excited and want to do the same thing. That's the only thing I do.
Yes. Thank you.
You're able to hear. Cool.
So am I back to good now?
Your headset still isn't working, but there we go.
What?
I can hear you.
Yeah, but
I can hear you and you're muted.
That's so weird.
Let me go through Zoom.
No, but I can't hear Ryan.
Yeah.
Oh, what the hell?
Here, you want to use... Oh, you don't have a headphone jack, do you?
No, I don't. If anybody can hear and see still on the live stream, we're going to the after party because obviously this come to a horrible conclusion of technical and just unbelievably soul downtrodden issues with the live stream. But we're not done. We're going to the after party. There's a link down in the description. There's also links down in the description for the Madison Area Herp Society, of course, US SARC, International Herp Society, which is something I was also hoping to talk about on the stream before we're done, because they're having a symposium. And there's a link for that as well. So you can find information for that. And also the rescue that Eric works with, Friends of Scales. That's all down there. You go down in the description below and see all the awesome things that Ryan and his family is working on. And I'm going to stop driving myself insane with this crazy backbeat. We're going to end the stream and we're going over to the Zoom call for the Q&A.
There's a link